And then Native Red, who didn't get to compete at Charlotte, looks like they're pretty pissed off and angry about that. So this is one where both of these two teams are really evenly matched. It's one of those 51-49% edges, but I gotta give it to SSG with how they've been playing today. They look really strong, but on the other side, Native Red looking equally as strong, taking down that Native White roster who had that Cinderella top 4 finish at Charlotte. Something's got to give.
Something has got to give, and it's so hard that, like you said, that 51-49, if you're splitting percentages for which way this goes, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to lean just ever so slightly the side of SSG, just based off of, performances at Charlotte and even recent Open Series. They are, coming in as the favorite, but Native Red, they're a team that we had high hopes and expectations for in Charlotte, and maybe it was slightly delayed, and now they're picking up where they left off. We had a 3-0 semifinals against Native White. Can they put the pedal to the metal when it counts? We're starting off game number 1. Stronghold on recharge. A couple of early slays in the side of Spacestation Gaming. No significant objective time to be won just yet.
Pznguin opens up the scoring, but only ever so slightly as he goes down, and that's a domino that rolls down all the way to all 4 for Space Station as Taulek and Native Red now have position in the hill with what looks to be more control than SSG had previously, as Native Red taking away at that scoreboard. Druk with the opening slay here on Pznguin. This could be a really good hole, if not for Bound, the Rookie of the Year, pushing forward, but he goes down 2, 3 down once again, 4 down for Space Station. Native Red starting out on fire. Taulek with the overkill, commando shots, earning hill time as well. He's doing it all.
There's a reason I promised Taulek that I would never underestimate him. Again, the opening killing spree, the opening overkill, and this hill is 2/3 captured, but they're not just thinking about one hill. They're already starting to think a little bit about hill number 2 and trying to keep that long hillside locked down. Hill number 1 is all about that C platform control, which is why you see Native Red leaving the objective in order to try to secure those kills on the long haul side. And now Native Red have 3 players rotating long haul on the response back, but Bound in a sneaky spot here at the bottom of the stairs if he catches Native Red off guard, but it's the crossfire from Manny that's gonna find him out.
And if Native Red are able to break this setup here, it'll be because they all 4 collectively died at the same time, now pushing out altogether, whereas Space Station was a little staggered, but no, Native Red 2 down once again. This is a great answer back. This is some great defense from Space Station after that hot start from Native Red and the overkill from Taulek.
Watch out, because Space Station is one of the best stronghold teams. Their defense alone is so solid, ranked 4th at Charlotte and now currently 2nd in 2023. They get the defensive slays. They can lock down the objectives. So the fact that Druk is now staying alive, even more impressive, to not give Space Station the time to lock down that defensive hold. Native Red are going to get the first objective hill on the board. Feels pretty significant when you're looking at this underdog team.
Oh, that's huge for Native Red. The fact that they scored first, and then you had those A elevator spawns for Space Station. Native Red, easy rotation to that long haul hill, but just like that, it's the offensive push from Space Station that takes down Druk, opens up some scoring for them, and we saw that earlier in that first hill. A great answer back for SSG. The question is, how long can they hold it here? Eco with 3 down for Native Red. This would be a team wipe for Druk if he goes down. So SSG putting it together here, now have the lead on the second hill.
The early lead now from Space Station, and here's where their defensive capabilities can really shine, as Eco is the one locking down the hill. They also have players over at Glass or at Attic, as you can see those little cues on the left side of the screen, and then the 4th player almost running through bottom of blue pipes, and it doesn't look like Native Red are even trying to make a push here. It looks like they're happy to go to a 1-1 tie if they can set up for hill number 3. They are still not pushing, and now Space Station, we saw this on Sunday, where they weren't trying to secure the hill until they knew they had that rotation locked down. Now Druk is breaking through.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a risky strategy to get that timer all the way to the 95-99% mark and then wait and bait it out, but like you said, Magic, with that next hill rotating all the way over to A, you can see Pznguin setting up over there for it, but he actually pushes out towards C, so looks like there's still a little bit of meat left on the bone. There's still a little bit of work to do for SSG. If they're not careful, Native Red will flip this hill.
They're about to steal this hill, and Taulek is 14 and 4, 10 more kills than deaths right now. A menace on the map. Druk crossfire gets a kill, and there it is, the absolutely stolen hill. Just when we thought Native Red was happy to go to a tie if they could get that third hill set up, they come in, they break down the door, they take that hill for their own.
And I think that might ultimately be okay, because it looked to me like Pznguin was thinking about conceding earlier on, where he was over on that A side of the elevator. Ended up working himself over to blue, but nonetheless, Space Station able to early rotate over to A. But just as I say that, Bound gets forced out through the pressure and damage, and now he has to work himself back into this almost stronghold of a hill.
Bound has some great movement, but the melee just out of range. It's not going to be enough for him to connect. He's taken down. Taulek once again. What was it? It was just 14 and 4. Now he's already at 17 slays. Like we rotate away from Taulek. Meanwhile, he's getting kill after kill, nearly double anybody else on the map. He's taking on Bound. He has the grenades out, but Bound is surviving with 1 HP in a dream. Bound doesn't have any health on this free challenge, but he wants to back up teammate Pznguin. He gets there in the just perfect timing, held that full double kill for Bound, looking for the triple because there's no time barely to even reload his weapon before Native Red respond on the push. And that's it. 3-0, 3 straight hills captured.
Wow, 3 straight hills in only a minute and 15 seconds of regulation. Because of the amount of time left in this game, you're gonna still see Native Red continue to play for this hill as Manny takes down Pznguin. Has a lock on this back seaside, needs to stay alive here to anchor the positioning for Native Red.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see teams off of a 3-hill lead kind of milk for time, but how quickly and efficiently they capture those hills, they're going to play for the full 4 hill captures. And you see a player now getting more objective time as SoulSnipe has the shock rifle in the back of Long Haul. He's watching the cross, but the fight came to him. Eco tossing a grenade, seemingly unaware of SoulSnipe's position. He gets a nice clean kill. Bound is there on the A side, and SoulSnipe just missed a chance to scope in on that Mangler side door. Space Station off the respawn are still trapped at that elevator side. This hill already at the 2/3 mark. This might be the last chance push for Space Station as they send 2 flying at the back of C. Taulek is alone to try to defend. He gets an assist on 1, looking for the assist to come through on the second.
This is absolutely clinical here from Native Red, and it almost looks like SSG is going to concede. I mean, they made a push there at the very end, but it didn't look very lethal or very worrisome if you're Native Red. My goodness, a 4-0 butt whooping here in game 1 against an SSG squad Magic that we said, and not only said, but was coming into this series looking really good. So Native Red looking even better, and it was on the back of Taulek, that incredible performance, the triple, dropping into the hill, earning time, and the overkill as well. Taulek, MVP of that match.
Absolutely, Taulek deserves the MVP title, opening the game with the killing spree overkill. And let's watch it back. These kills were softened up by teamfire, but none of them were free. Just instantly snapping from one kill to the next target, to the next target, to the next target. Looking like he's in the shooting range with how quickly he adjusted from one to another.
Uh-oh. And if you're SSG, this isn't looking like a good look. Game 1 was snowbally on a map and game type where it's not necessarily snowbally. Game 2, Empyrean Slayer, the most snowbally of varieties. An avalanche potentially falling down on the heads of SSG. If they're not careful here, they better make sure they're bundled up in their North Face. They got some camping equipment too, because Native Red has come to play.
Bring your parkas, bring your kerosene lamp, maybe a little campfire, some hot stew, whatever you need to survive the snowbally map that is Empyrean Slayer. And just to help you out, because, you know, Mikowski's throwing a lot of words at you, snowballing meaning that this game can run away from you quick. As soon as one team gains momentum, we know that Halo is a momentum-based shooter, but some maps and modes lend to that even more. And this is exactly one of them, because of the amount of power weapons on the map, because of the locked spawns. If one team gets control, this game can get out of hand and quick, as Native Red quickly put 2 on the board. StelluR with a beautiful headshot to try to keep in the fight for overshield, but it looks like Taulek has the overshield at the ready. He pops it, using it to take down Bound and extend Native Red's lead.
God, and how many no-scopes have we seen today? And how many times have we seen Native Red jump out to an early lead? 6-1. This is the snowball you had to watch out for. And it might just turn into the abominable snowman if SSG doesn't stop the bleeding and quickly.
SoulSnipe looking for that killing spree, and EcoSmith going down is going to be the spree for SoulSnipe. What Taulek did in game 1, SoulSnipe is bringing in game number 2. He has 1 HP and a dream. He nearly survived there. If Taulek had hit that body snipe shot to save his life, nearly a miraculous live, but Taulek instead couldn't connect on the snipe. He's gonna fall back, regroup, but they're happy with the start, 11-5. I don't know if there's time for me to change my prediction, because this is another level from Native Red.
Yeah, and you think maybe, oh, well, hey, SoulSnipe's carrying the mantle. You know, Taulek isn't having as good of a game. So, yeah, SoulSnipe 5-2, most slays on his team. But Taulek hasn't died yet, and he has those 2 assists to work with as well. And I always say the sign of a good team is when one player maybe drops off a little bit, there's another one to pick up. Here in this case, Magic, we have Taulek continuing the form from game 1, and now SoulSnipe wants to get in on the action as well. So you got to watch out here. This lead looking really strong here. I know it's only 6 early, but there's something to this eye test that Native is passing with flying colors.
Passing the test so far, they're getting an A+, but it's, you know, it's not even midterms yet. It's not even halfway through the game yet, and that's when passing the test is really going to stack up. Pico trying to stay alive, and he has 2 players from Native Red collapsing once again. Taulek comes out with that win. Not only that win, but Taulek is all the way at the back of the base. He's gonna have time to regen the shield before re-engaging. Any damage that EcoSmith did is irrelevant at this point because it doesn't result in a net kill or assist coming through. That body shot, however, might result in an assist as they fight for rockets, and Overshield is going down. Manny finds the sneaky corner and the back smack onto StelluR.
Oh, and if you don't check your corners, you might just end up checking your pulse. As Manny goes down, Taulek back on board with the all-star from game 1. And it's SoulSnipe now with an overshield as well. At 8-4, he doesn't need any extra help, but he gets it in the form of that overshield, and honestly really needed the overshield there to survive that encounter. Druk noticing the damage and pressure on Snipe Tower. Despite his teammate dipping from green, he continues to push forward, putting pressure on this next sniper and overshield that's coming out. This is full domination here, as it looks like Native Red might just grab both snipers and the overshield.
And they increased their lead now to 11. It was just at a 12-point lead as we hit this midterm, this halfway point from Native Red, 25 already. We're on pace for a spectacular. If we stay at this rate, we're looking at a 50-30 unless Space Station can find an answer. But without any power weapons to their name and how well Native Red is using them, Space Station are in a world of pain, and they need to rely only on teamwork and only on their BRs, which is not going to be enough against Druk in the remaining round of that heat wave.
Double kill.
Oh, triple for Taulek. Oh, but the reload. The only foe that's really provided any sort of pressure is having to reload instead. Pznguin taking down Taulek eventually. And Magic, for me, you gotta bump everyone down a mark from their top 4, 5, 6 placings at Charlotte because of Native Red not being there. And it's not only it's one thing to kind of freak out over this online performance we're seeing against SSG, but let's not forget Native Red top 3 on LAN at the Halo World Championship. So anything they do here online, it's not fool's gold. It's a golden opportunity for Native Red to climb into those ranks and regain control of top 3 as Pznguin has a little bit of answer back with that double kill no scope. SSG now down 6.
What a flashy, beautiful play from Pznguin. The sniper pancake. I mean, 2 of my favorite plays in the whole game, and much needed at this time, too, this juncture of the game. Pznguin with the killing spree nearly cleans up the kill onto Taulek, but they cut that lead in half. What was once a 12-point game is now just 7. It was within 6. Native Red quick on the reset, though, and this is what we saw from game number 1. When we thought they were losing hill number 2, they reset, they stole it back away. And even though a few kills went to Space Station, Native Red are quick to push that reset button.
And it's been the teamwork and assist from Native Red that has been the difference. Almost a 2-to-1 advantage for them in the assist. And that's really important to point out, Magic, because these are 2 of the teams, 2 of the only teams outside of Optic who won the Halo World Championship to not make roster changes.
True.
That's the advantage you get when you stay together as a team collectively. But what happens when both two teams have that same familiarity? It goes back to that saying we said at the beginning. Something's got to give here.
Druk takes down a kill with the BR, and he's trying to make sure that if something's got to give, it's going to be Spacestation giving way into the lower bracket, giving them a trip, a one-way ticket to lower bracket if Native Red can come through with the rest of this series. It's not over yet, but an 8-point lead as we more than passed that 30 kill mark. We're in the home stretch now for Native Red as Druk continues to hold on to Sword Spawn. He is 10-4. Incredible performance here from Druk, and a big part of why they 3-0'd Native White in the last series was Druk leading the way in slays in both games 2 and 3. He sets up a kill for Taulek, who fills in, and the 40 kill mark is reached.
Yeah, 10-4, something you might hear over the police chatter when something's going wrong. Oh, something's going really wrong for SSG as they've not found the answer for Taulek and SoulSnipe, both with 10+ kills and 4+ assists each. Absolutely dominating performance. But again, you got to look at the grouping. Druk and Manny not far behind. Oh my God. The no scope from close range, the quick scope from long range. Can StelluR get it too? Yes.
Just enough delay between that double kill and the third kill that it didn't count as a triple, but what it did is it stole the sniper from the hands of StelluR, put it into SoulSnipe, and look at this. Full pedal, all gas, no brakes as they rush into the base of Spacestation. Only needing 3 more. They can trade on every kill, but they don't want to trade. SoulSnipe wants the triple to end. He's gonna hit 2. And what a highlight reel from Native Red. Both of us picked SSG on this series, but what is this that we're seeing from Native Red that I have never seen from them before?
Faded predictions, at least so far, but I'm just glad you're right there with me, Magic. You said the same thing, but oh my God. Look at this close range. Look at the it's the prioritization for me to go back and forth between two completely different ranges, angles, situations, gun skill.
30.
As SoulSnipe finds 2 back-to-back double kills of the unbelievable variety to put the finishing touches on that game 2. And Magic, we warned everyone about the potential snowball coming down the mountain. That's an avalanche there from Native Red, up 2-0.
And now Spacestation need to find a way to carve a way out of this suffocating blanket of an avalanche that has bombarded down the mountain, has completely stifled any momentum that they had throughout the tournament. They need to rebuild. They need to get out. Any equipment. They need to grab a rope. They're hanging by a thread in this series. After a dominant day on Sunday with no games lost, today, before this series, had only lost 1 game to Rebellion, and now it looks like they've met their match. What Native Red are doing is seemingly miraculous. They are more than out for blood. They are fighting with a vengeance.
Yeah, 21 assists for Native Red, only 12 for SSG. A third of their kills were assisted, so you could almost argue per slayer, per capita, SSG had a favorable amount of assists. But my God, when you look at the whole picture, the end game result, 50-33, this one really could have been a spectacular. And it really felt to me, going back to the individual and the individualism versus the teamwork element here, it always felt like StelluR or Pznguin had to pop off with that sniper for them to be back in it. You had to have this miraculous push forward, reckless abandoned play from Bound, but the help never came. And there you see some of that incredible action there from StelluR. The first kill of the game was a very difficult no-scope, and then it all rolled Native Red's favor, as even when they were making individual plays with the likes of SoulSnipe and that double at the end, they had teammates pushing and swarming all around, cycling, as we see here from SoulSnipe.
They had them not just cycling, they were, caught in a blender for the majority of the game. That Spacestation gaming was just not able to find their footing. They were left scrambling. And it just goes back to the all gas, no brakes coming out here from Native Red. Once they had that snowball rolling down the mountain, they just gave it one final shove. And this is one of my favorite plays from Pznguin, who, shout out to Pznguin for clawing. This was the moment where they cut that lead to 6 after it had been a 12-point deficit. But the response from Native Red right after, decisive.
That shot barely missed StelluR's head.
Triple.
Oh my goodness. And even that one, SoulSnipe really Could have put on a montage there at the end. I mean, honestly, he did.
It
As we
was
hop.
almost back-to-back crazy triple beat sniper, almost.
Yeah, ridiculous plays there as wow. Let's talk about a snowball. It's carrying over from game 2 to 3. A team wipe for Native Red as SSG goes all 4 down, and Native Red have a +4 and rolling on this oddball.
You have to assume that all the weapons now go to Native Red. Here's the rockets. We saw the stalker rifle, even shroud screen on top of it. See if they can use it for a quick oddball rotation. Right now, the predictive rocket, perfectly timed to catch Pznguin. The BR cleans up the rest of that kill. 11 early seconds, but again, when it's streets, it's all about controlling the sandbox. And those initial kills are gonna give you every tool in the kit.
Manny with that shotgun to work with, and imagine pushing up on this shroud screen into that waiting shotgun as Pznguin just about does that over on the palm trees a little bit further out, but the same concept nonetheless being deployed by Manny to earn that kill on SSG as he's earned his team numbers advantage. For the meantime, Bound looking to reverse fortune, but no, it's a reversal for Manny as he takes him down instead. Native Red continuing to score here.
The Bulldog popping out of a shroud screen to take you down. You can't tell me that Halo Infinite is not a horror game, okay? That would be terrifying. Pznguin, once again, the player that Spacestation relies on to get the break. He gets the backsmack for the overkill. He says, if we can't break through, I'll do everything. I'll take down all 4 players. I'll get the objective into our team's hands. And we saw this happen. There was a glimmer of hope in game number 2 where Pznguin was leading the charge. But this time we see the team rallying around Pznguin on this pickup, this much needed pickup for Spacestation. Pznguin is not stopping with rockets 3 seconds away. There's no better time to be putting the kills up on the board as StelluR's gonna get those rockets off of Pznguin's kills. And no, he's taken down.
Now this is big here for SSG though, because all 3 of these games started out very similar where it honestly looked like all Native Red. Now we have Spacestation finding their form, finding an answer as they're now down only 5. 2 down for each squad. Manny taking down the 3rd for SSG. StelluR, last player alive. He's going to elect to just go back to B and hopefully earn spawns here at that B side. Look at this bounce spawning up right on that oddball. So an opportunity because of the spawn positioning to make a move if you're SSG. But Taulek, recognizing those B spawns, finds the back of an opponent and takes him down instead.
Native Red getting more time on the clock. He nearly doubled up over the 20 seconds that Spacestation are holding, and you gotta watch out for Druk. He was on fire in the semifinals. He's been on fire here in the winners finals. He's up against Eco, and it's gonna be that red gun that gives Eco just the sliver of advantage that he needed to win that kill. The fight's coming through. The grenades are flinging. SoulSnipe gets credited with that kill. Eco is down. Stalker rifle can change hands. But this ball out in no man's land, out in limbo, as teams fight for any sort of control before they can make a safe rotation.
Active on the oddball are Native Red. 3 of 4 players claiming 10+ seconds. That's the objective efficiency in Milk that you need. It's a big reason why they're up by a 2-1 margin here. Manny with that bandit rifle off the rack takes down his opponent. Spacestation go 3 down, Native Red 2 down, and that's gonna afford Druk this opportunity to rotate away with the Milk. He could drop it here and take it down. Pznguin help Taulek out. Oh, this is looking all Native Red. So just as we saw SSG answer back, Native Red, so no.
No, not gonna let them get back in this game, and hopefully gonna keep them locked out of this series. Wouldn't that be an upset for your books? Right now, Native Red at 59. Taulek gets a kill clear across the map, lines up the shots, and now it's Pznguin versus Taulek, 2 of the lead slayers on either team. And in this 1v1, this isolated gunfight, Taulek comes out with the win. It did look like Bound had the fresh rockets. He gets 1 kill with those. That's why Taulek shifts his attention across the map. But are you seeing this rotation, Mikowski? Native Red have nearly gone 360 around the map, counting of objective time the whole while.
Yeah, and that's one of those ways that you can milk out some extra objective despite being down in numbers, as we saw a little stretch there where SSG had the numbers advantage, but oddball was all Native Red. 25-80 now. Just over 2 to go in regulation. StelluR with that red gun. We saw it work earlier for SSG. I imagine that's something that they're going to have to maintain possession of here, because not only does he have the red rifle, but he's got that shotgun as well. One of the best dueling combinations you can have in Halo Infinite. StelluR's got to stay alive. The sticky misses the shoulder. I thought it may have even caught the armpit. as StelluR with one shot in that shotgun and one last hope to stay alive earns the Boxer killing spree. Kill assist as well with that stalker rifle, and don't look now, but SSG's mounting a comeback.
Right back in this. Right now they're 25 seconds down, and the Halo as a horror game fully comes to fruition as the Bulldog was lurking inside the shroud screen. StelluR played it to perfection, baiting in the enemies. Native Red collapse and get taken down. Now just a 10-point game. StelluR with that stalker, finally some sandbox control for Space Station, and he is putting it to work.
Yeah, on the backs of that stalker rifle, SSG is right back in it, and they might even have the lead, but because of the use of that stalker rifle and how proficient StelluR's been with it, it only has one shot left. You might even want to get the early burn here, shoot this last shot out, because it's not going to be enough or consequential enough to even matter. As I should, I misspoke. Taulek, one shot, all he needed there, as now the stalker rifle has been depleted and heads to the red rack.
Holding on to that last round did pay off in the end, and now SoulSnipe, though, watch out. They won over the Rockets. So even though StelluR was able to get one final kill with the use of that stalker, Space Station did get the lead in the game, but they only have time for one push, which is going to be very difficult to do when SoulSnipe is sitting at the top of C-Stairs with the Rockets, and now Native Red, they're rotating the ball. They don't want to have to drop it, but they are forced to. Space Station win out on the slays. StelluR trying to pick up the ball, but he still has to deal with Taulek. It is Taulek with the Bulldog, no less.
91-94, a minute and a half. This one likely will not go to time. It's going to be that oddball time that determines the winner here. And look at Taulek emptying the shotgun with a few disrespectful shots into the body of his opponent as StelluR pushes up along the cafe side, but that's not going to be enough as Native Red sneak away with that oddball and the round.
The extra, oh yes, the replay. There was no questioning that extra round of damage from the Bulldog. Maybe it was to burn off the last ammo, but it was definitely directed at the dead body. Taulek is at full confidence mode, and rightfully so, ending that round with 15 kills and 10 assists in a close oddball match. Now listen to this though, when Native Red are up 2-0 in a series, they have won 100% of the time, and they are just one round of oddball away from keeping that 100% record.
Yeah, this has been one hell of a performance from Native Red, but just as we say that, 3 go down, StelluR with that oddball. And here's where it's crucial, the rotation. Where do they take this rotation? We saw Native Red with the big brain rotations last game. That could be the difference here for Space Station coming back.
They need that comeback. Pznguin gets the double with the use of the Rockets. All the players from Native Red are going down. Pznguin once again leading the way on slays. But the question hasn't been, is Pznguin capable of getting the kills? The question is it enough? Right now they have the objective and they have the crossfire lockdown as well. Pznguin wants to kind of overextend for that kill. I like that move to the top of Planner so he's not giving his back to the rest of Native Red. 3 go down. SoulSnipe is last alive, the only player to break through. He's gonna get collapsed on quickly. He tries to kind of play the ball, but it kind of catches at the top of balcony. So even on that breakthrough, Space Station Gaming are gonna retain control.
And I like that trade there for Eco because it takes 3 down for Native Red. At the time of him going down, it was only 1 down, but an answer back as Pznguin goes down bound. We're going to take down Taulek and SoulSnipe, but that's too much pressure, too much movement as SoulSnipe moves forward. Has that bandit rifle in his back pocket. But for now, elects to do work with the tried and true battle rifle. Now whipping out that bandit rifle. Almost a perfect reversal on SoulSnipe, but instead it's 4 down once again for SSG.
Look at Taulek just immediately prioritizing that objective right off of the respawn. Here comes Taulek, this all-around player. You know him for his slays, you know him for his assists, and now picking up that role as the objective player. Looks like Druk's gonna win over the Rockets. The more traditional use of that shroud screen used to protect Druk on the approach. He's rewarded with 1-2, nearly gets the plasma stake for the triple. StelluR comes away with his life. StelluR as the lead slayer across the game, 22 and 14, make it 23 as he tries to stay alive off a crucial takedown. This is the dicey midsection of the map, and the team that wins the next round of slays is gonna get a good chunk of time.
Yeah, and it was that sticky trade there from Taulek which opened up the angle and the lobby, it looks like, is 2-drop for SSG. This will certainly lead to a reset. As we're not sure exactly what happened there. Usually you might see one get dropped, but we saw two get dropped there from SSG, as we'll have a reset, recollect, and get a official ruling from the admins as far as how that match will reflect going into the reset. But saw a little bit of fight back there from SSG, and you got to imagine Magic, led by the winningest Halo 3 player of all time in Elamite. They're never out of it. So despite Native Red looking really strong in the series, up 2-0, SSG's still in it. You can't count them out until they're finally out.
Yeah, and you're starting to see now in game number 3, like, why they are one of the top teams to watch out for. It was kind of missing in games 1 and 2, like they had lost a little bit of their sparkle, or Native Red were kind of, stealing the spotlight. But in game number 3, like, this is edge of your seat Halo, that it's not like one team building a highlight reel, but it's both teams just like clawing for the win. And this is honestly, this is my favorite kind of Halo to watch, where it's kind of messy, it's kind of dicey back and forth. Native Red, though, on that first round win, Spacestation came just short. I think they had like 91, 92 seconds of objective time, just not enough to get the round secured. So off the reset, we know that Native Red are still going to have at least that one round advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this reset, I want to take a quick sec to thank everybody from the community for all the support, all the subs, all the gifted subs, the prime subs as well. LVT Halo is entirely community-based and community-funded. We could not do this without y'all's support. And wow, this has been unbelievable. Another player I want to shout out is Nighty Night, finding 2, 3, 4. It feels like overkills. Nighty Night essentially with the overkill of observing, because I think that's at least maybe 4 that we've seen today. And that is unbelievable. You'll go entire tournaments across multiple days where you don't see a single overkill. Nighty Night with that sixth sense, the game sense, almost like at as high a level of the players in this lobby, finding all the overkills and multis this tournament day. GG's to Nighty Night.
Yeah, big congrats. Best observer in the game. And, he's getting spoiled by the overkills. It's not just that he's catching all of them, but there's a lot going on for the players, too. But all the love for Nighty Night. I love this replay of the extra damage being dealt out. And it is the observer overkill. He's got 4 in 3 series. So I don't know. Can someone go into Photoshop, take the overkill medal, and remove the stars with, I don't know, like a camera or something? Or I don't know. We can work that out, the design philosophy. But nonetheless, give this man his flowers. Give him his medals. Do I need to go make a trophy for Nighty? Is that what you're telling me? Because I will. I think so. I will. No, big shout out to Nighty Night. He deserves it. Obviously, LVT, Brandon running the production. And we also have Taylor, that's Snow Stats. Check him out on Twitter, where he's just bringing us stat information, really helping us to try to sound smart in the broadcast, which I appreciate. All of them in the behind the scenes roles, but really the engine that keeps the show running. And it looks like we're rebuilding this lobby. We're going to keep this series running as well. We're going to load right back into that Streets Oddball. I assume it's going to be that 1-0 round advantage. Really difficult in Oddball, similar to like Capture the Flag, to kind of award partial rounds, but I don't know. We'll see how it ends up playing out here as we get back into the game. Yeah, so this is going to work out for us and not work out for us, because I believe we're going to have a clean reset, so we don't have to worry about any plus or minus or any math to determine the winner of round 2. But I believe we'll see the colors change because of the I believe they'll change Cobra and Eagle. I might be faded, but nonetheless, we have a reset here, a full reset. Native Red up 1, going into an even 0-0 round 2. I do like that it's at least what you had said as that clean reset. And here off the break in that round 1, we saw Native Red get 4 down, come out with all of the toys, but right now triple kill. And of course, Nighty immediately hops over for any overkill potential. This is a complete reversal of what we saw in round 1, as all 4 for Native Red go down, and Spacestation with all the toys to play with, 1 rocket, Oddball quickly snatched up.
If you guys are just tuning in, we have a even reset, so we don't have to worry about any of the plus or minus. Native Red, however, carries a 1-0 lead in this game. So Native Red on match point, not only in this match, but this series as well. SSG, led by Coach Elamite, need to find an answer to bounce back. But just as I say that, 40 uncontested milk for Space Station. This is not the SSG we saw earlier. They're coming out really strong after this reset.
and that's what we started to see before the reset took place. We started to see an answer from Space Station. It was led by Pznguin, then it was picked up by StelluR, and now Ego's leading the way on slates for Space Station. The oddball is in the back of PD. It's Druk who lives there now, and he's gonna break out of jail with the oddball in hand, making a rotation to B side. And honestly, a big piece of why Native Red came around with that first round win was their very smart timing on those oddball rotations.
Yeah, and here they are in a little bit of no man's land here over by the arcade side. You're not going to want to stick around and pump a couple quarters into that. You're going to want to rotate here, or you will go down as SoulSnipe goes down. Ball in a really precarious spot here as it feels like bait for either of these two teams at this moment. Taulek trying to find the back of an opponent, but no, he goes back to the respawn screen. 3 down for Native Red, and now the question is, where does SSG rotate this oddball? It looks like they'll take C.
Taulek going down, and his ragdoll effect from his body turned him into a Spartan pinata for a minute there at the top of tires. The rotation is coming through from Space Station, but not as super. They're not like rushing it, right? They're kind of patient. They kind of held for a second there at Red Room. Now Bound rotating the oddball back to see where Eco is ready to hold the defensive line with the use of one rocket. Did a lot of self-damage, but luckily nobody from Native Red was there to clean up the rest of that kill. And Space Station looking like very decisive in this round too. Maybe it's just they needed to get to their backs against the wall position before the true fight comes out of them to go down. And unfortunately, Eco is also eliminated. Taulek unscathed on his rotation through the back of the subway, looking for the next target. He's going to find 2. It's Bound and StelluR both on this commando side. The kill goes down from Manny onto StelluR. Bound's going to be in some trouble, trapped between all of the Native Red lineup.
Taulek, like a thorn in the side of SSG, was the last player alive and was able to take down 1 from Space Station, and he's still surviving here at C. That's some of that butterfly effect, that cause and effect that leads to rounds like this, where you have Native Red coming back on the back of Taulek, and now that stalker rifle, shroud screen to work with as well. Oddball gets played out to the front of C. That's not a full play ball here, so Native Red feel like they can comfortably handle this push here as they're doing just that. Pznguin last hope in the C base. Now StelluR spawning on PD side. You're going to see some more oddball time here for Native Red.
It's about 40 seconds separating the teams, and Taulek 7-1 right now, plus 4 assists. Only been taken down in this round 1 single death. Hopefully I'm not giving a caster's curse to jinx that. He has the red gun. He shoots out the spike grenades to deny those, and Native Red quickly climbing the scoreboard. It looks like Space Station might hold off their rush to play for rockets first. A train of kills goes through. Pznguin and Eco both rotate through the back of the base. The killing spree from Taulek. He might find Eco to his right. What a great adjustment through the shroud screen for Taulek to win that kill.
And he finally goes down as the last player alive multiple times there for Native Red. The last line of defense and hope for them is on the backs of that. Not necessarily, or it was a killing spree, but it was really more impressive than the 5 kills in a row. It was the minutes in a row that he was able to sustain his life and stay alive and lock down C. That's one of the reasons why Native Red is right back in this game.
Yeah, getting a clutch kill, equally important to get a clutch survival, right? The survivability of Taulek was really even more impressive than any slays that were happening, as he kept Space Station Gaming at bay, at least for the time being. But now the break is in. Here comes Manny with the Bulldog. He stops that oddball quickly. He's burning a little bit of ammo, trying to not go down without a fight, but he doesn't find the angle for the second takedown. Space Station Gaming are playing at another pace than what we've seen thus far in the series, and now they're 20 seconds away from forcing this to a round 3.
SSG looking primed to put the finishing touches on this round, notching it up at 1 in a crucial game 3 where their backs are fully against the wall. Final push, a desperation push coming in from Native Red. 2 going down for each team. It's a little mixy. Oh, SoulSnipe now stealing the oddball and looking to rotate, but no, that was all bait. He wanted to pull Pznguin out, but Penguin's not going to take the bait. He's instead going to play his process, make sure he's shooting at his opponents with support there from Bound. That's exactly why he's able to stay alive. Both players are able to stay alive with that double kill. And here you have to imagine those final 13 will get put on the board as all 4 go down for Native Red, and now 2 are on spawn, having to desperate forward.
Pznguin has been the leading slayer for Space Station thus far in the series. The team has come just short, but off of this round, those slays plays the patience from Pznguin in the back of Subway. That means we are deadlocked at 1 round apiece. Spacestation finally showing us why they are here in the winners finals, why they were undefeated throughout Sunday, and they're ready to play.
SSG starting to wake up a little bit. You got to watch out here if you're native red, because they've got the 2-0 lead, but you cannot rest on this. You cannot lay your head. You got to play all the way through to the finish, or SSG will find a way to reverse sweep here in this series. Rocket and Oddball both still up on the reset point, as Oddball now gets picked up by native red, but a little bit of bait once again. We've seen that multiple times here where teams will almost bait and give the other team that opening possession if it means they get the team wipe afterwards. We've seen that time after time. That's a strategy you got to look out for if you're one of these top teams.
But I think that goes back to Spacestation adjusting mid-series, because they're picking up on the patterns from native red, and that pattern has been that native red get to the objective instantly off of kills, and now Spacestation are learning that, and now even if native red get a couple of kills, Spacestation back away, use the objective as bait in order to answer back with kills. So I think it's a very heads-up strategy breaking through for Spacestation and how to respond to native red's prioritization of those objectives. We'll see if it pays off. An early round 3 lead right now from Spacestation. The fight once again back at Subway. The Oddball sitting down at tickets, but both teams not trying to buy a bus ticket right now. They're trying to get that objective under control, and StelluR's kill is going to give them the security, the space to hold that fall.
There's that deadly combination here for StelluR, but he doesn't have much ammo economy to work with because of it. Doesn't have that final shotgun shot to use. Goes down as a result. And now here's a little numbers advantage for native red. It's been all SSG in this third and final decisive round. Eco Smith has been playing so well here, 17 and 13 since the reset. And you got to imagine all 4 players for SSG chugging a Red Bull or a Jeep or whatever your energy drink of choice is, because this looks like a completely different team, Magic.
Yeah, they finally woken up. They've wiped the boogies out of their eyes. They got their good morning stretch. You know, they're eating their Wheaties, whatever they got to do. Suddenly we're seeing Spacestation Gaming in full form across the board. Druk has been the leading Slayer from the semifinals and even through the Team Slayer match here in this series, but he is not going to be the leading Slayer at the moment. He's 9 and 16, and until he can pick up those slays, they can't get the objective. He does have the most objective time, let's give full credit there, but Pznguin being hard to take down, jumps out of the way of that spike grenade, takes only partial damage. We might see a rare instance where the Oddball rotates to back of A instead of Subway side.
And look how staggered the deaths are here for native red. Almost 2 to 3 seconds, maybe sometimes 5 across apart from when their teammates spawn. The reason that's important to know, Magic, is because it makes it way more difficult to push up collectively off of spawn as Eco Smith goes down. Numbers advantage once again here for native red, and they're gonna have to take advantage of it. Down 60 seconds, but no, despite that, Spacestation has the Oddball and they're rotating it away.
The smart timing on the rotation. Right now, the Oddball sitting at the bottom of C stairs, but if Spacestation can rotate up the stairs to C, they're going to be able to milk 10, 15, maybe even the full 32 seconds that they need to take this game. StelluR gets the melee, gets the back smack, picks up the Oddball, and there's only time for native red to make one more push.
Another staggered push here. SoulSnipe, the last player alive, so he's looking at a guaranteed 1v2 at minimum. Now has that teammate support. I love the patience there from SoulSnipe. Waited at the back of C before pushing in. Waited for Druk to slide in, but the answer from SSG they don't care how well timed and calculated native red is. Beautiful. They look even better now after the reset. And this could have been 100-0. Instead, it's 100-6. SSG bounced back in this series with ferocious intensity, and they're now down only 1 game.
The ferocity from Spacestation Gaming is what we were anticipating when we saw this winners finals matchup. They force a game number 4. No sweeps coming through in this winners finals. Live Fire Strongholds is going to be the next challenge for Spacestation. We know that they're a strong defensive team. We didn't get to see that in game number 1, but now that they're like snapping back into it, now that they're woken up, I want to see if they can live up to that reputation of defensive capability.
Yeah, and this was really big here for SSG because just as we saw pure domination from native red 4-0 in that game 1, nearly a spectacular in game 2, we see a little bit of the same in answer back for SSG, where I believe they won that 200-6 66, I think it was. So 200 seconds to just 1 minute. Native Red didn't even really ever compete much in that game, especially after the reset, as SSG now looked primed for a potential reverse sweep.
Gotta credit Taulek going with a 6.3 KDA, but it's all of Space Station with the spread anywhere from a 4.3 KDA to an 8.3. So a pretty tight grouping across those 4 players, but all of them going significantly positive. And it ended up off of reset being a 200 to 61. So even less time that they were able to give up or hold Native Red to, rather, in that oddball. And maybe that reset was just what SSG needed to get that little kick in the butt to get going again. It's certainly making me feel like we're getting the series that we were expecting to see.
Yeah, I think everybody would have pegged this as a game 5, as we very well may find ourselves in that scenario again, as it looks like we're just waiting on 2 players from each squad to join back in the lobby. But my goodness, what a series we've had so far. And my question now, Magic, we've seen absolute blowouts really for the most part in each of these games. Is this the first one that has that really close, intense finish where, you know, somebody gets to 240 seconds and then it's a last second stop with the other team having 150 seconds coming back to 240? I don't know why, but that's just it's a weird prediction to make, but that's sort of the way I see this game going here as we approach a live fire strongholds match where plenty of rotations, plenty of movement to be expected from these 2 teams.
Well, you might say that's an odd prediction, but I think I'm on board with like what the spirit behind that prediction is. What you're seeing is both of these teams leaving it all on the line, and neither one kind of accepting defeat at any moment. And therefore, you might see those last second plays. And what these teams are doing that has brought them to the winners finals is they have adjusted mid-game so quickly, and those adjustments are team-based adjustments. So when one team has the objective locked down, you see the offensive adjustment quickly and decisively from the other side. And honestly, it makes for such a fun and fast-paced matchup back and forth. So I very much expect this game to be very dicey up until even the final seconds. Whether we see a clock stop or not, I would love to see that medal coming through. It's basically the stronghold equivalent of a fumble and oddball if one of the teams can come through with it. And it looks like we're just waiting for one player to come back into the lobby. Do you want to make a prediction on this, Mikowski? I feel like you're hinting at one.
As much as my heart wants to see SSG comes back in this series, I feel like Native Red find their form here in this stronghold, but I feel like I say this a lot, but this is one of those game 4, game 5s for Native Red. You do not want to go to game. If we do go to game 5, SSG takes it absolutely. And you really got to watch out here because it looks to me like we've seen some mid-game, some mid-series adjustments from the coach Elamite that have almost made this SSG roster look like a completely different team from where we started the series at. So we're going to be continuing to look at the strategy, the timing, whether or not they rotate and go for 3 caps or just try to hold AC and get those spawn traps at B. What does Elamite have up his sleeve here as he goes up against another great coach in Jam on the other side?
I don't know. The merch line from SSG is pretty impressive. So whether he's wearing the hoodie or the t-shirt from SSG, whatever Elamite has up his sleeves could just be the deciding factor of this match. And I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I want a game 5. So I'm going to lead with my heart and say Space Station Gaming. They're woken up. They're ready to fight. StelluR with the snipe. Gets a no-scope. That's a great way to lead off. But the objective time to Native Red as they get that first initial capture on B, it looks like Space Station are opting to play for the overshield, the power-ups first, and leaving that objective as secondary, which is pretty true to form from what we've seen throughout the series.
Yeah, I just love the risk reward that gets poised here on live fire with that staggered overshield spawn. As StelluR with the perfect shots gets the double kill, but it really forces teams to decide, do we want to go for the overshield or the objective? Is we rarely see teams get both at the same time, as this score looks like it might just flip here in SSG's favor, despite the fact that Native Red got the overshield. So despite all of that, though, no, Native Red going to continue with the form we saw in the early goings of this match. It feels like Space Station is right on the cusp, though, of flipping B.
do get that B flip over, they're going to get their first points up on the board, but they still need to worry about Druk, who is on a roll with the sniper, looking for one more takedown to hit that killing spree. He sees the shroud screen. He can assume a push is coming from the snipe tower, from the nest. He has Bound is right around the corner at the bottom of nest. He's not going to give Druk an angle for that killing spree snipe. The second shroud screen is out. A is getting flipped, and now here comes Bound, waiting patiently on the back line. Druk gets the zone reset. He hits the body shot. He connects on the BR. The killing spree comes through, but the damage has been done. Spacestation Gaming on the brink of a triple cap.
Druk, the last player alive, and he almost stayed alive so long that it caused a stagger here as we see SoulSnipe go down right as Druk spawns back up, and that's a thread that's been carrying over from that game 3 where SSG was starting to stagger and cycle these native red spawns. And when you look at a game type like Strongholds, that's going to play into their favor here as they look to have a strong comeback mounted.
Oh, the plasma pistol was there in the hands of SoulSnipe, but as he hits that plasma pistol burst, Eco still connects on the rest of the kill. He was left at one shot, but he's getting kill after kill. Space Station Gaming holding on to a triple cap, and it's mostly due to Eco's big brain plays and survivability to hold on to C. And it looks like Native Red, they're adjusting mid-game. They're on 1, 2, 3 hills at the same time.
That is something you'll rarely see, and it might not work out in their favor as far as refilling A and C. They're going to get A because of it, but yeah, I almost wondered A, B, C. Where's the only one player's really left to help any of those cap points as Native Red still struggling to secure C. Eco, Smith, and Bound have the defense. Taulek now in a 1v2 situation. Eco's going to have to push up there and help out his teammate Bound as it's a little delayed, but it's not going to be worse for the wear. Despite that, Bound goes down, but SSG still 3 up on these hills. Unbelievable.
Oh, wow. Looked like that was all for Eco's killing spree, but he perfectly rotates around the pillar to find the melee. A brief triple cap there from Space Station, but honestly, Eco's survivability, once again, a big part of why map control is all in the hands of SSG. This team, Stronghold, is one of their best game types, and opponents of Space Station average only 55. So with Native Red currently sitting at 42 and looking a little bit stuck, Space Station are in their true form.
Space Station might get even stronger here if they're able to secure that overshield, but the pressure is on not only the OS but the snipe tower as well. StelluR down to no shields, has 2 shots to work with. Great recognition there, looks back at the overshield, but Druk sneaks away with it and maybe opens up an opportunity here for Native Red to flip the scoring and regain control of B. But just like that, StelluR with the headshot on Manny, shutting down all hopes for a comeback for now.
And he still has 1 repulsor use left as he uses it there to try to set Druk off of balance at the top of the tower. Druk's overshield is gone. Pznguin with the heat wave secures that kill. He's getting chased down by Taulek to go down for Space Station. Bound trying to stay alive. That's 3 down. StelluR last alive or first up, if I missed it, is the only one to try to prevent this triple cap, but he doesn't have any shields and he's singled out. He needs to survive. 1 kill is going to be enough, but no, the reset comes through. He doesn't get the capture.
Oh, absolutely heartbreaking as it looked like that was right on the edge. I didn't even see 100th percentile for it to fill in, as that will still be in favor of Native Red. Pznguin looking to flip that. Has 2 players on the garage door, Bound and StelluR with a chance to pinch here and help out. StelluR recognizes it with the double kill. Bound recognizing that 2 went down. Taulek, last player alive here on the B side, and it's going to be another triple cap for Space Station in the driver's seat, driving 80 miles an hour. No, 180 miles an hour towards the game 5.
The best response to an enemy's triple cap is a triple cap of your own, and now Space Station are extending their lead. Native Red did pass that team average, but only by 5. They're stuck at 60 now. Taulek in the bottom of B, and the pancake comes through. Not the traditional pancake. This is a pancake with a little bit of extra syrup as he gets the verticality of that repulsor to play for him. And the home stretch is hit. The triple cap remains intact. 20 seconds and climbing for Space Station to force a game 5.
Bound with that commando and with a dominating lead here, a dominating performance, leading his team with the most assists, least deaths. I love that there from Bound, especially a player that is known for playing so fast and aggressive, as we see Native Red with their last second hope here on this A spawn. But hey, they got the double kill. They got Taulek with the overshield as well. And a potential here for them to push towards C and cycle spawns for themselves instead.
The double clock stop right here from Taulek, as every takedown is preventing the defeat screen from coming across the scoreboard. Eco uses the Shroud screen to stay alive. Eco is still alive off of that Shroud screen play. Taulek scrambles to the top of the tower. He's gone.
Wow, B going to Space Station, but C goes to Native Red. They're going to continue scoring here. And Strongholds, I don't care if it's 249 to 15, there is always a chance to come back and start rolling the same way we saw SSG roll on Native Red. 3 going down for SSG. Now it's an opportunity for Native Red to cycle those spawns.
Yeah.
And capture A for that trip cap. You almost feel like they need to press for it here, Magic. Down still by a considerable amount.
I know that 5 kills in a row is a killing spree. What's 5 clock stops in a single life? Is that a clock spree? I don't know. Taulek looks like he might be going for a new medal here, and I'm a big fan. As he keeps on rotating, he had the always rotating medal going from zone to zone, and right now Native Red are on the brink of a triple cap of their own. If there's one way to get back into Stronghold, it's by putting double points up per second.
Uh-oh, and it looks like we may very well just have that 240 clock stop scenario where Native Red mounts a considerable comeback. 2-2 in the kill feed, and my goodness, that overshield is going to determine so much, but it's an interesting decision here for Native Red. You got to continue to make sure you're scoring. If you give up any of that scoring to SSG, they're going to win this game. But the overshield, such an important factor here. SSG, they're only going to get away with B here, so this opens up the opportunity for Native Red to play for that overshield. But just like that, Space Station secures B, stops the trip cap just for now. And there's that overshield. It's in the hands of Manny. Native Red are mounting a comeback.
He's gonna get killed. He's looking for the assist. Penguin at the back of B might be the only hope to prevent another triple cap, but as he's taken down by Druk, Manny quickly recognizing the rotation, doubles back to check on C. Taulek checks on A. They're just checking all their corners, checking all the boxes to hold on to a triple cap, mounting one of the most incredible comebacks we have seen. I believe it was 247 to 60, correct me if I'm wrong, and now it's only a 20-point difference between the two teams.
Unbelievable. Oh, here's the dangerous situation though. There's that one slip up, that one mistake that Native Red could not afford to make as SSG secure the triple cap, secure game 4, and have us heading to a pivotal, decisive game 5.
Oh my goodness, what a game 4 that was. We had killing spree, we had clock stops galore, and even better, what I was hoping for, the game 5 on the docket. I'm just not ready for this winners finals to be wrapped up just yet. These two teams are too good. We want to see all of this top level Halo, and we're gonna get that in a game 5 Aquarius Slayer. Are you gonna stick with your decision here, Mikowski? Are you gonna say if Space Station Gaming get the win, this is their series?
Yeah, SSG I feel like is in the driver's seat now. I believe they're primed to win this series, and it was a really weird prediction to make that last game where I said it was gonna be a 240 plus improbable comeback to make it close, which is exactly what we saw. Why did I predict that?
Scripted.
It's scripted, right? Yeah, I got handed the script from HCS. That's why we knew that was going to happen.
Be a 240? Okay, got it.
But no, the reason that is because this series has had so many occurrences of snowballing and cycling where the team wipes and the 4 downs for each squad are really dangerous because they're dying 1, 2, 3, and then you'll even wait like 4 or 5 seconds for the 4th to go down. That is those staggered spawns that both of these teams have been taking advantage of to put up chunk gains, whether it's Stronghold, Slayer, or Oddball. It doesn't matter. That's been the thumbnail, if you will, for this series.
I love it. I love it so much. I love it that we have a game 5. I love how dramatic that game 4 was. It's like, you can almost talk to Chad and be like, are you not entertained? 247 to 60 until the triple cap came through. But in the end, Native Red fall just short. SSG clutch up when they needed to in order to secure the win and take us the full length of the series. And now if you're on board with Mikowski, he's saying Space Station are going to fulfill the reverse sweep. Both of us picked Space Station at the beginning of the series, and when Native Red came out guns blazing in games 1 and game 2, we were starting to shake in our boots a little bit. I think at one point Mikowski called us, what was it, faded casters?
Yeah, having a little bit of fun with the chat, right? You know. You got to make fun of yourself every once in a while. You got to, honestly, if you're going to own the calls you make and the crazy predictions that land, you got to hold your hand up and own the L's you take as well. That's just the way I see it as a former Halo pro, now turned caster alongside my wonderful duo, Magic. Together, we're Magikowski, and this is about to be a magical game 5 here. Each of these two teams, we said at the very beginning, it's a something's got to give series, and it's no wonder that it's went this direction with 2 for Native Red, 2 for SSG. Now something's got to give here in game 5. This is it. No matter who wins.
I know I sent you a DM. It was yesterday or the day before, and I said it's going to be a great cast on Thursday. I can feel it. And so big thanks to these players for giving us the gameplay, taking the series the distance. The opening kills are going to be oh so important here on Aquarius game 5, and it looks like Taulek's going to pick up 1. No team breaking away just yet. And the power-ups to pick up here is the active camo at top mid, which I don't see in play, and that heat wave, which Bound has locked down. He's playing very patient. He's got to watch out for the 3rd power-up on the map. The dynamo grenades absolutely shredding through the shields. And SoulSnipe with the triple kill, he reaps all of the rewards. That camo was not out of play. It was in the hands of SoulSnipe.
This is huge to point out too, because SSG has elected to take Sandbox over the lead in the beginning of these games. Now they have both Sandbox and the lead. Up 5, Eco pushing in towards that car side. StelluR with maps or cross shots across the map. Eco gets the cleanup on Druk. He trades out, but up 5. You've afforded yourself the opportunity to continue to play fast and loose and take trades and not feel the sting of it.
That early lead's so important to dictate the pace of the game, and right now it's Native Red already with that 7-point advantage. Pznguin has been the lead slayer time and time again for Space Station, but as all 4 go down, they need to find a new approach. Native Red are split across this map. 2 players at top mid on either side, 1 on P1 and 1 in the base. They have the lines of sight across the map to cover for each other or get singled out. They can't hit those shots. Taulek's trying to single out Pznguin. He has him down to 1 shot, but he has to give up on that high ground position. Space Station are making their breakthrough move.
Double kill.
Another multi-kill on the screen. We saw a triple earlier. Now it's a double kill, and it's the time and place that matters even more than, oh, well, everybody loves the Halo medals in Halo. Just unbelievable. Jeff Steitzer hearing his voice, but it's the camo that matters more in this instance. StelluR looking to put it to good use, but Native Red in a situation where they've got to negate that potential comeback, do a great job of taking it down as they go all 4 down. So taking down that camo trade was huge there as it retains that lead of 5.
You get that initial lead, then your only job for the rest of the game is holding on to that lead, because the game's a win whether you win by 10 or whether you win by 1. Eco Smith is trying to chip into that lead, and now he's brought it within just 1 team wipe. That important breaking point, the double assist off of that frag, setting up teammate Pznguin for a takedown. And now just a 4-point game, once a 7-point lead, looking much more manageable as we reach that midsection of the game.
Native Red doing a great job to hold on to this lead. Space Station, though, doing a great job to make it a 1-possession game. Again, 4 kills, 1 team wipe separating these 2 teams, but it's Taulek with the heat wave looking to cook, pushing into the carbine side, has the players back, but doesn't get awarded the assassination. Instead has to finish it off with that microwavable heat wave, taking down Eco like a hot pocket. Taulek looks to maintain this hot streak, this hot start for Native Red, now up 6.
The heat wave is microwavable in the sense that it microwaves enemies. I don't recommend putting it into the microwave. I'm assuming there's at least 1 metallic item on that heat wave, but it's certainly getting the job done in the hands of Taulek, kill after kill, but he's last alive. He has only the heat wave and thruster to utilize as he waits for teammates on the respawn. He gets some opening damage on StelluR, but the team fire from Space Station is starting to pick up. It's a 6-point game, and there's a little update there at the bottom of the screen. The lower bracket, G1 versus Rebellion in a 2-to-1 series where G1 have the lead. But right now, Native Red, at maybe the turning point of the game, are back to that 7-point advantage as they cross that all-important 30-kill mark.
G1 versus Rebellion, each placing 5th, 6th at Charlotte. So again, it just feels like all of these series, something's got to give. These teams in the HCS have all improved so much over the course of time, and from HCS Season 1 to Season 2. I felt like SSG lagged behind a little bit in that, but they're looking much more improved since Charlotte. But hey, if they don't win this game against Native Red, you might actually think that they're falling back a little bit and have more questions to answer than answers. So SSG gonna have to figure it out here. Down 7. You cannot let this get to 8 and 2 team wipes going into the 40s. If you're SSG, you really got to come back strong right here.
This is the chance for Space Station. Every kill inches Native Red closer and closer to taking the series. Eco gets 1, StelluR gets 1, Pznguin. All 4 go down for Native Red. That's the breakthrough at the perfect time. Mikowski, you set that up so well to say now, Space Station, now. And they answered with 4 down for Native Red.
Yeah, and that comes very well, or very likely, from the comms of the coach or the IGL there to collapse, pinch, secure the timing, secure the team wipe. But instead, it's 4-3 going down for SSG. Back to a 5-kill lead for Native Red. They've held that comfortably throughout the duration of this game. Another reason why it's so important here for SSG to break through. But then now they're in a situation, Magic, where they've got to do it again.
40-33, they were within 1 team wipe, and then they let off the gas. They gave up ground yet again. Anything's possible on these comeback plays in StelluR. Druk rotating through the bottom of blue utility. He's dealing out damage. An assist comes through. Camo is spawning in just 2 seconds. Native Red off of these kills are trying to lock down control of that power-up, but Bound wins out on a pivotal 1v1. Could contest for that power-up pickup. It's actually SSG who are in position now. Taulek with the double kill extends the lead to 10. Even if Space Station have that camo, what have they lost in the process?
Hope. All of it. 48-36. This one is all but over as Druk pushes in to the base to take down Eco for the double kill. 2 players on Carbine side. They might all go down even past the end of the game. That's how fast and ferocious and aggressive Native Red was looking there to make sure that SSG was not able to celebrate a reverse sweep on Twitter and in the bracket as they'll move on to the grand finals.
I said I had to apologize to Taulek, that I would never underestimate him again, but maybe I owe a letter of apology to all of the Native Red roster for proving our predictions wrong, for coming out with the win when it matters. And even off of back-to-back wins from Space Station, they seemed unshaken, which really attests to their experience as a team, and also the fact that, again, locked in as a team of 4, carried over from last year to this year. They were ready to take this fight head on. Big congrats to Native Red being the first team to secure the spot in that grand finals.
Yeah, and you gotta love that for Native Red, who did not get the chance to compete at Charlotte with their complete roster. You had Druk, I believe Diagram filling in for Druk, and when you talk about a team that's been together for 5 years, that is massive. Like, usually Diagram would be a great replacement. I actually saw him play pretty well for Complexity. Had moments where he was the top player actually for Complexity in terms of damage and kill death ratio. But it's way different when you're filling in for Complexity, a team that's kind of been switching rosters every event by the 1 or 2 variety. Here you have this Native Red roster that really relies on their chemistry, their cohesion, and the communication. You lost all of that when you brought in a substitute. I don't even care if you're bringing Ogre 2 out of retirement. That's going to hurt Native Red because they have so much familiarity playing with each other. Going up against a squad in SSG who also has that same level of familiarity. But there we saw the extra year or 2 of familiarity played in Native Red's favor, and that's why they find themselves in the grand finals over Space Station. What a series. Went to 5. Wow.
So glad we saw a series go the full distance, and what a place to do it. What teams to take us to that game 5. It certainly leaves me with like one kind of lingering thought in my mind. I cannot wait to see Native Red on land throughout this summer, through the upcoming events, in full force as the full team of 4. They are going to be a threat to be reckoned with, as they've proven here in this online tournament.
Yeah, we're looking to see who can break into that top 2. Optic and FaZe have a stronghold on it, and you might have thought SSG was the most likely to break up that form in the top 2, but I don't know. Native Red just looks like they're coming back with a vengeance. And I don't know. That top 3 world championship placement, that wasn't a fluke.